Hi, and welcome to Knit All the Things. My name is Laurel. I'm also known as West Maven on Instagram, Ravelry, and here. If you're new, this is a space where I talk about all the things I'm knitting, all the things I want to knit, all things yarn, just all the things. And if you're returning, welcome back, Knitting Bestie. I can't wait to catch up with you. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about my first finished cardigan. You guys, I'm so excited. It's the Champagne Cardigan, a pattern by Petite Knit. We're also going to talk about the Lyon sweater and the Hipster Hat, also by Petite Knit. I'm going to share my first ever hand spun skein of yarn, and you guys, spoiler alert, it's not very good. We are also going to be talking about the latest issue of Pom Pom Magazine. I can't wait to share this issue with you. It's very, very good. And we are going to be talking about all of my castonitis. So grab your knitting, get cozy, and let's go. Okay, let's talk about what I'm wearing. I'm really excited. This project took me a while. I think I cast it on in August, and this being November is a pretty long span of time for a project for me. I did obviously complete some sweaters and things in between, but I felt like this one took a little bit longer than I had anticipated. This is the Champagne Cardigan, a pattern by Petite Knit. It is knit from the top down, and you pick up stitches for the arms, you pick up stitches for the button band, and I just really, really love this cardigan. It's very elegant. It has a nice oversized boxy fit, and I am just in love. I've worn it so much over the last little bit. I had talked a little bit about buttons the last time. I am gonna pop in a picture of the buttons that I chose, but they haven't showed up yet, so they'll be here. I don't know that these are like 100% the ones, but I can change buttons later on down the road. I think it'll look nice with all the like different colors in this yarn. So let's talk about the yarn. It is Noro Madara in the colorway 16 Fujisan. And I held a mohair, specifically Lamb and Kid Momo, in the colorway Trippy. And first off, both yarns are amazing. The Trippy is such a crazy yarn in that the core of the yarn ends up being like a pink, and the kind of fuzz is the purpley part. So this is all I have left. I was really worried that I wasn't going to have enough. I actually didn't find any online, and that's okay because I had enough. I had thought I might have to leave some of the mohair out, maybe on the back of the neck, just where it would be like not visible, but thankfully I did not have to do that. I basically weighed it, did about half of my button band, and then weighed it again to see if I had like enough to finish, and I did. So that worked out. I really had a little bit of, I guess, having to take my time with the button band, picking up stitches. That was the only place where I didn't use the mohair, was that one round where I was picking up stitches, because I knew it wouldn't be visible, and I thought like more mohair in that area wasn't really going to help me easily kind of pick up the button band, if you will. I really love the detail of the longer ribbing on both the sleeves and the body. And I just think that overall it turned out really nice. I like that it's oversized, which kind of makes it like even more cozy for me. And I think just makes a really nice sweater. I will say it took forever to dry when I blocked it. So because of that, I didn't get like aggressive with like really stretching out the bottom to make sure it's like very straight. And I think maybe, I haven't done it yet, but I will maybe steam it a little bit and kind of just fuss with it a little, because the drying of it took so long. Again, maybe next summer I'll like re-block it and kind of perfect it. But for now, I think it's nice. I got gauge, but I did have to go down a needle size because of the fabric. And so basically, I think I just went down 1 needle size and then left the ribbing needle the same, I want to say. Or let me think. I think the ribbing needle on this one in particular actually is the same as your main needle, like what you knit most of the sweater in. I don't think she actually goes down a needle size, so I just left it that way. It is a worsted weight pattern, and so the Noro Madara is worsted weight, but it does have thick and thin bits. And then I held the mohair, so I was, with the needle recommended, getting a larger, my sweater would have ended up larger had I stuck with that. So I did go down a needle size. I am happy with how it turned out. I was in between deciding on a medium or a large, and I think I in fact cast on the large amount of stitches because it was like 2 stitches more or something like that. And then I ended up only just increasing to the medium and stopping there because I was realizing like, oh, it's gonna be plenty big enough. I'm really a fan of oversized, and I wanted it to fit definitely oversized. And I feel like it turned out what I had imagined in my mind, which is always like magic. I do want to say just the overall experience of knitting this cardigan was a lot different than I had originally thought. So knitting a stockinette cardigan flat, every other row are purling, right? And so I was concerned that having to purl so much, I was really not going to love knitting this. It was gonna hurt my hands. And so what I did end up doing, and I think one of you commented, and I'm sorry, I'm not crediting you, I might be able to look it up later, but you had said maybe I'm using the European purl, which is instead of wrapping, I'm gonna try and think. When you purl, instead of wrapping over, you wrap under, and so you're able to kind of like pick your stitches when you're knitting. And then you have to remember when you're doing that on the right side to then you're knitting through the back loop so that you're not twisting your stitches. And so I did that once I had, I think, split for sleeves. I don't think it changed my tension really at all. Maybe it's the slightest bit tighter, but not enough to like be noticeable. I do think that I would knit this again for sure. Probably not right away. I do want to knit another cardigan. I definitely have a few on my mind, particularly the Eva cardigan, also by Petite Knit, as well as the Granny cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I just can't get over those cables. They're so beautiful. I would say the only thing that I wish that this pattern had was pockets. I like to have pockets on me during the day. And I'm walking around, put my phone in or like whatever it is. I like to have pockets, and this one doesn't. I suppose I could add a pocket or pockets to it and maybe one day, but since I don't really have yarn for that, I probably won't. Oh, I could do an inside pocket, you guys. Then it wouldn't matter. Maybe. Okay, so the inside of the button band, I just think the finish on this is so nice. And I'm just so pleased with it. And then I did, of course, the buttonholes, and I'm just waiting for those buttons. But I really like how it turned out. I just think it's like what I had imagined. A big, cozy sweater. It definitely goes down pretty, like it's a long fit. I think it would also be cute if you wanted to crop it. But I do like just a big, cozy, like snuggly house coat, if you will. I think that it's going to be worn quite a bit. I've already worn it a lot because it is like wearing a blanket around the house. So I actually never thought that I would be knitting a cardigan because of the purls. And also anytime that I see a pattern that I feel looks complicated, like maybe the button band or the picking up stitches, I can get overwhelmed with that, or I definitely used to as a newer knitter or newer garment knitter. And I've noticed that if I approach a pattern in a way that's just step by step, it's way more accessible for me. meaning there's a lot of patterns out there that look very, very complicated if you're just reading through the pattern. But if you look at the pattern and read through it as you're going with the project in front of you, it makes so much more sense. So I've been trying to choose patterns not based on fear or all of that, but based on like, okay, let's just one step at a time, because chances are it will make sense as I am going. And that is true. The other thing about this pattern, believe it or not, I found a mistake, which I thought was kind of odd, being a petite knit pattern. I'm sure lots of people have knit this, but the mistake is right before you do the body ribbing. Essentially, it gives a instruction to like knit whatever, and the next instruction should be like purl and then start on the right side in order to like have the correct stockinette pattern and look. And that piece, that line is missing, at least on the English version of the pattern. So something to keep in mind if you do decide that you are going to knit this. I also think that I would probably next time use the needle suggested and size down. So I would have, this one is a medium. I think that I would have knit the small with the bigger needle. Not like, this is a denser fabric for sure, but I think the kind of tension that I would have had on my hands would have been a little less, like making sure that I was getting like stitches like tight around the needle, because I didn't want the gauge to be too big. I could have been a little more relaxed in knitting this, and I think that would have been slightly more enjoyable, but it is what it is. I got gauge. I think I could have definitely, like I said, left the needle size and just sized down the size of the sweater. But you live and learn. The other thing I want to say about the sweater, and then we can move on to the next one, is with the buttons, I think that next time I knit a cardigan, my like button expedition, if you will definitely start sooner. So I basically was like knitting the button band when I was like, okay, let me find out buttons or figure this out. And I probably would have had them in hand had I started a lot sooner. I also just was so in my head about what I wanted. I really wanted vintage buttons. I don't know why. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm sure brand new buttons are obviously lovely. But in my head, I was like, no, I want a vintage button on this for whatever reason. And so that is obviously going to take longer to find, especially given there's not really like a good way of finding those unless you just type in like the size in Etsy and just look for hours and hours and hours. So I should have just started that whole process sooner. I think it would have felt less stressful or just less all time consuming at the end of the project when I wanted to celebrate and be done. So that is the Champagne Cardigan by Petite Knit. I think you will want to make one. It's really cozy and comfy, and I recommend this pattern highly. So the next pattern that I'm going to share with you, I had to beg and plead with my son to get this sweater because he wanted to wear it right now, but we have it for now, so let's hurry up and do this. Okay, this is the Lyon sweater by Petite Knit. It is the junior pattern, and I made a size 5/6. And I used Valley Yarns Westfield yarn for the blue. It was denim, amethyst, and teal. And then this neon is leftover Plymouth yarn that I made a hipster hat with, and I had just enough to do the hem and cuffs and little details. So I did not like make up this color blocking myself. I was going through Pinterest, and sometimes I do this if I'm have an idea or at the start of an idea in my head And I know that I want to, like, this color block something. My son had already picked out 3 colors. And so I basically just type in 3 color block, and that's it. Like, I don't put like sweater or what, that doesn't matter. I just want to see like what color pairings they would pair together. And I came across this Loro Piana, I think it's Loro Piana sweater as inspiration. And I'm going to put a picture here. I really liked how this color blocking was. I do think I would have done mine a little bit differently. I probably should have made the purple at the top color and then the blue and the green. I think that would have more reflected the Loro Piana sweater a little bit better, but I do like how this turned out. This is a top-down sweater that is knit in the round, and it has a really cool construction. So you knit the back panel first. You knit some of the back panel, I think like this much, like that much of the back panel. You do a regular cast on, and later you pick up for your collar, but we'll get to that in a minute. So you do your back cast on, then you pick up and cast on stitches for your shoulders, and then you meet those in the round. But before you do that, once you've done your shoulders and you start right before you knit in the round, you actually pick up stitches along the shoulder. And so it has like such an interesting shape, and it's just like such a well-fitting sweater. I will maybe pop in a anonymous photo of my child so you can kind of see the fit, but I really, really love the way that this turned out. He really loves it a lot, and I'm just so pleased. I think that the neon makes it super fun and like kid-like, but I do think I would wear something like this too. I really think it's so fun. I love this pattern, especially for the striping. And if you haven't seen a previous episode, basically for this stripe, I started to do intarsia, and then I kind of did, but I treated it like different colors for the, what do you call it? For the stripe. So I knit across in the green, and then I added a purple, and then I cut those, like I basically cut so it's not really intarsia. I cut the color as I came to it, and then I'll weave in, did I weave in the ends? Yeah. So then I wove in the ends for that, just so that I could have a stripe of green in this area that's in the round. So that's kind of how I did that. And then the rest of the green accent is in the round, so it doesn't really matter. But I really love how this turned out. The back kind of shoulder details are really sweet. And then I decided to do the folded over neckband because for my sleeves and hem, this is a DK weight yarn. Here's me just mixing weights all the time now. This is a DK weight yarn, and I used a worsted weight that is like certainly a worsted weight. So I went way down on the needle size. I think this was going to be a US 4. I think I went down to like a 1.5 just to like make sure that it was tight enough for the cuff. And I did the same thing for the hem. And I don't think that it is all noticeable that I have like very big difference of yarn weights. And then because I did that and I was noticing that the hem and the cuffs were looking rather like just poofy, I guess you could say, I decided that I was going to do the folded over neckband, but I had read some people on Ravelry's comments that when they went to do that, because you pick up and knit the neckband, and this does have, I would say, a intermediate level pickup in that you pick up 1 stitch for every stitch, and then you pick up at a rate, and then you pick up like 1 stitch for every stitch. So you just have to keep in mind of like where that happens to be. But anyway, I decided to do the folded over neck, but a lot of people had commented that they were experiencing putting on the sweater being too tight with the folded over neck. And so to kind of combat that, I decided to do as the directions stated, which you're not knitting down every stitch. So that does make it a little bit more open. But on top of that, I did like a sort of a take on Jenny's stretchy bind off as I was doing that, just to make sure that it really has a lot of stretch and it wasn't going to like be hard to get over his head, and it seems to be perfect. So I'm glad that I did that, and I would probably do that again if I made this again. So anyway, here is the finished sweater, and I will have all the information for everything below, but I really, really love how this turned out. I also want to say that if you are kind of needing a little motivation, knitting a kid's sweater can really do it for you because you have a garment very quickly. And so this didn't feel like it took very long. I feel like I had this done in no time, and especially doing just something different than the pattern. So I will pop in a picture. The Lyon sweater in Petite Knit style is a striped sweater. She also has an adult sweater, so if you find this to be exciting, you can knit one for yourself. And I just, again, wanted to do something different because my son had wanted these colors. So I will put notes in my Ravelry, but a couple of tips that I would recommend. So I really had zero, like I didn't measure a certain amount before I changed colors. But what I did decide to do was eyeball. This is terrible. I just kind of eyeballed where I wanted that stripe to be, the green stripe. And then I changed colors. And then once I changed colors for the sleeve, deciding on where my color blocking was, I took the sleeve measurement plus what was here on this, which was like, I don't know, an inch or so. Now I'm eyeballing it, I don't really know. But then I basically tried to do approximately half of that in order to make it look well balanced. And I found that I couldn't exactly do it because, of course, when you're doing a sweater sleeve, there is more purple because of the way that I wanted it to line up with this. So I kind of, I'm the worst. I'm basically telling you I eyeballed it, and I do have notes, and I will include them. But I did eyeball a lot of it just so I could have this kind of look when I was done knitting. So that is the Lyon sweater by Petite Knit, and I really enjoyed it. I think I might make, not like this, but I think I might use the pattern for myself. I have quite a bit of yarn, of like one skein yarn, that I think would be a cool, different sort of stripe. So I really like how it turned out. Okay. So for my next finished object, I do not have it with me, but I'll pop in a picture. I did finish another hipster hat. This is for my cousin's son who is sick, and I really love how it turned out. I feel like this Plymouth yarn is great for this pattern. I believe that, well, I don't know. I used a size US 4 for the hat, and I used worsted weight yarn and ended up using the size teen or child, whatever is below the adult in the size range. And I really like how it turned out. When I have knit the size for my kids, I feel like they can wear it for quite a long time. The rib just kind of gets smaller. But I feel like it's such a stretchy fabric that it's really, really easy to knit and have it fit a lot of sizes, if you will. I do have more yarn for more hats. I got these for my kids a while back. They had picked them out, and they're La Bien-Aimée Wensley worsted. The green is the color Lush, and the blue is called Blue Royale. And I really, really think that these are really fun colors. This has 50% Falkland Corriedale, 25% Falkland Merino, and 25% Wensleydale. And it's about 250 yards or 230 meters. I don't know what hat I'm going to make for them yet. I have been showing them pictures of different hats. My oldest, I made the mini take heart for him, and he really loves it because he loves the pom-pom on top. I don't know if he will want another pom-pom hat or if he just wants something like a hipster hat. I say that because that's the one he wears. Like, he wears those two the most of all the hats that I've made them. He likes the pom-pom for like the fanciness of a pom-pom, but the one he always grabs to like go outside and play is the hipster. So I'm not sure what I'm doing with that. And then my youngest, he just was like, I just want this color. I don't really care what it looks like. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I don't know either. I was like, I don't know either. I don't know what it's going to look like yet. So those are like future cast-ons. I also wanted to remind you that I'm doing a hat knit along. It's going to run through the end of the year, so you can make gifts and things. There is a Ravelry group, or you can use the hashtag KATTHATKAL23. It's KATTHATKAL 23. And there will be prizes. I'm working on that right now. So yes, these will be some hats in the future. And then as far as knitting goes, I have been knitting on a lot of things, like a lot of little things here and there. So behind me is my Ferda Genser, and I've been making slow progress on it, but I have been sitting down and doing a striper here or there lately a lot. And what I will say about this, right now, I literally have like one more color repeat on the body than on the sleeves. So I am going to have to probably finish the body next. And I think I'm about color-wise like here-ish. So all these darker colors are about to come up. But here's what I'm thinking. Let me know if you think this is the easy way out or lazy. You're not going to offend me at all. I am tired of knitting this sweater. I am really done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not having fun anymore. I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. So here's what I'm thinking. To speed it up, I probably will finish off the body how it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to do the hem in this color, which was the full skein from the Advent, which was the Sweet Nesting Advent that I got. And this is the Ferda Genser pattern by Anna and Heidi Pickles. They also have their own yarn brand and kits and things, but I used my Advent. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to finish the body, use this skein for the hem, and then here's where I might get lazy. I was thinking that I will maybe finish out the same color as the body is going to be, and then maybe pick two colors to do a diamond motif with this intermixed in it, and then finish this off like the longer on the cuff, if that makes sense. So like I will still have this like triangle, like the top has into the hem. I'll still do that for the hem, but in this color, because I don't think I have enough red. And on the sleeves, I will do the same thing, but this will be much longer. And I think I will do stockinette, and then I will cuff it still as it's supposed to be, but rather than just continuing on forever. Like, I am so tired of this. Let me know what you think of that solution, because I think just doing a stockinette, not changing colors, will make it go by faster. Because while if you knit stripes, it goes super fast, when you're doing all over color work, I feel like it's slowing me down. And I also think that, I don't know, I'm really done with this. I want it to be done. This is like taking a year, and I don't want to knit it on it anymore. So I'm trying to think of ways to like speed this up. And I think if I used one color, it would just go by super quick. Has a bunch of decreases on the sleeves. I still think I have more, quite a bit more. I don't want to like shorten the sleeves. I just don't think I will wear it as much if unless it was a long sleeve. The other thing I was thinking is finish the body, because the body really is almost done lengthwise for me. And then do the rest of the colors. And then if I need more in the sleeve, rather than like trying to pick out more colors and continuing on, then I would just do this and be done. Because I have 1, 2, 3, like 4 more color combos for the sleeves. And maybe that will be the length of the sleeve. Like I just don't know. I'm tired of it. I don't want to knit this anymore. And I feel bad saying that, but like the fun is over. I'm done. I'm not having fun. I don't want to do this. Have you ever had a project like this? I actually feel really bad. Like it's fine, but I'm not enjoying this at all. This is a top-down raglan style sweater. I did a provisional cast on and then picked up and knit my neckband. And I did that because I was not sure of the color I was going to do or if I was going to change this. But I decided to keep that top the same. I think it looks nice. But that's kind of, I think, the only change that I made. The raglan detail is pretty cool. Like, it's a cool sweater. It's just, I'm not having fun knitting it anymore. The spark is gone. And that's okay, I think. I'm sure. Like, I'm gonna finish it because I do want to wear it. I think it's like a super fun, interesting, different sweater, but I'm just not having fun making it anymore. I want to be done. I'm tired of it. That's terrible. It's kind of terrible. I don't know. But I do want to get it done, finish it up, move on to something else. I have been working on that slowly but surely. I really, I'm pretty sure it's on a US size 4 needle. I'm getting to the point in the sleeves where I'm going to have to change either to magic loop or something because I feel like it's stretching a little bit too much and I want to make sure that I maintain the integrity of the color work and I'm not stretching it out too much or doing something weird. So I am going to probably do that, but yeah, I don't know. Not thrilled. The other thing that I've been working on, for some of you longtime watchers, longtime knitting besties, might recognize this is a sock for my husband. It's using Jing Fiber, the colorway Narwhal, I think. It's really, really pretty. I actually really love this yarn so much. And I picked it up the other day and realized I could do the heel. And so part of the reason this was taking a long time was that I was using 9-inch circulars for the leg. And I did that on the first sock, so I wanted to do it on the second, but it slows me down quite a bit. I can go much faster in magic loop. And so now that I've made it past that, I think it's gonna fly off the needles. And so I've been picking it up more because I feel like sometimes when you know something will be completed soon, it's a little bit easier to focus on. And so that's what I've been kind of doing. I also so that's kind of the theme of today a little bit because I had finished this and I finished the sweater, I finished the hats, been knitting a ton, but I haven't been quite casting on quite yet. And so the other thing that I have been working on is my half and half triangles wrap. Again, just another slow but sure project. This one has brought a lot of joy. It's using linen quill. This is called Super Orange, and I'm going to make one in, I don't actually remember this color, Super Orange and Bright Flamingo. And I started this last year in the winter, or I actually don't know when I started this. I actually don't remember when I started this. I don't think it matters. But I started this just for some happy color to knit. And so anytime that I'm knitting dark colors a lot or something that I just want some plain knitting, I pick this up and eventually it will be done. I have another one that I made in their Rose Granite and Kettle Black that I really love. They're cozy. I use them more of like a lap blanket or a throw, and I really, really love it. So I'm slowly working on that one. And that is everything that I am currently knitting. But here's where I need your help. I would like to cast on another sweater or two for myself. And probably because I'm procrastinating on getting this done. I don't want to do it. Okay, enough of that. So I would like to either, or maybe the answer could be both, cast on the Field Pullover by Camilla Vad or Camilla Vad. I don't actually, I'm going to say Camilla Vad, I guess. And I have this yarn that I've been saving for a while in stash that is La Bien Aimé's Cashmerino in the color Genju. And then I have this Kumo. And this happened to be a happy accident on her website. But to me, it looks like it's gonna go with the Genju perfectly. So I'm very curious if this wasn't supposed to be Genju, but it didn't quite meet their like, it didn't meet their like standards for color, and so it was moved into happy accident. So if you go on her website and look for collections happy accidents, it will be any of her discounted yarn that's maybe just a little bit different than what was intended, and sort of like seconds. And I was so happy that I got this one and it matched so well. And so this is going to be, I think, a field sweater. And I got this color Genju because I just really loved it, but then I was like, oh, it's not like black, it's not a dark color. And so I haven't cast anything on with it. But the field sweater, I just could imagine in this being like very soft and romantic and a like, I don't know, like a New Year's sweater. So that's option number one, the field sweater. Option number two is the White Mountains Light by Midori Hirose. And I want to do it in Knitting for Olive, Licorice, Mohair held double. And I'm really, there we go. And I really, really want to have a black mohair sweater, particularly because they recently had, and if you go to their website and you're a new customer, you can get free shipping on your first order. And they did this sort of retroactive thing last week for a day that if you hadn't ever received free shipping on an order, then you could get free shipping on one order. So I ordered more of their black mohair and their merino in licorice or whatever their black is, because I would like to cast on and make the dot sweater by Pernille Larsen. And I thought I would use for all of the dots like stash, but then I wanted a black background for that sweater. So that is coming. And because that's coming and in my stash, not only do I have this sweater's quantity of the black mohair, and I have more black mohair coming for that other sweater, I also have 2 giant cones of their mohair from COVID times. So I have like way too much of this without having knit a ton on it. So that is kind of the next thing I'm thinking that is going to be need to cast on soon, because I'm starting to hoard this mohair because it's so good. So Let me know what you think. Should I cast on the White Mountains Light? Should I cast on the Camilla VAD field sweater? Let me know. If you're interested in knitting along with me, not in a like hat knit along sense where we're doing prices, but if you want to like chit chat about it for one of those sweaters, or for, we can open it up and say a Midori sweater and a Camilla VAD pattern, just to like chit chat, we could do that. Let me know if that's interesting to you. I do know that one of my dear friends in Portland is going to want to do a Camilla VAD sweater here in December. So I was kind of leaning towards that, but I kind of want to do maybe both is the answer. Let me know. What do you think? Which one is your favorite? So that's the knitting. I also wanted to share, because maybe you'll get joy from this, I don't know. I recently got into spinning, like so many other people. And I started with a spindle. This is a Snyder Spindles walnut, just regular spindle, Turkish spindle. And I've already done, this is like 47 grams. And after I finish the rest of this fiber, I'm going to ply. If you're a spinner, I would like to know your opinion on the difficulty of plying on a spindle, because I'm not very good at it, and I'm going to show you why in a second. But I was thinking it would be kind of cool to have this yarn be all done on a spindle, just from like everything, like super, super, super time consuming, plying, all the things. Let me know what your thoughts on finishing this and then doing that would be. Okay, so after Rhinebeck, one company that I was really interested in purchasing, like had I gone to Rhinebeck, I would have stopped by their booth, I guess you could say. Because I've had fun doing the spindle, I wanted to try an e-spinner. And I've been looking around, watching reviews, talking to people, and when I went to Oregon Flock and Fiber, I ran into several spinners that was using this brand and spoke very highly of them. And so I was able to purchase one of their e-spinners after they got back from Rhinebeck and had extras in store. Because typically, from what I understand, they do like shop updates, and then or there's a wait list for specific models. So I purchased a Daedalus e-spinner. It is the Sparrow. It's super tiny. It's only this big. It's very small, very lightweight, and I really am in love with it. This is kind of my latest, focus. This is my latest spin. I can't tell if it's focusing or not, but I'm really liking it a lot. And previous to that, I did spin up some yarn. You guys, it's so bad. Okay, so I used a bat that I had gotten from Mad Hatter, and none of this has to do with her fiber. It's me being a brand new spinner, and also, honestly, just having no clue what I'm doing. Like, zero clue. I don't know half of what things are. I couldn't tell you how it was spun, like all of the terms of like, oh, short forward, long, like, no, I have no idea. Zero clue. I was just like, I'm gonna do this because it's fun. So also putting the thing together is not hard by any means at all, but like if you don't know what it's supposed to look like to begin with, there's videos. But if you're like, I don't know, like I don't know what I want to spin in. So this is set up as a Scott tension, which means this part spins around the bobbin. But some of them, you can also set this up Irish tension, which is the bobbin spins and the other part doesn't move, I think. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So anyway, this is my first skein of yarn. Here we go. I just picked this fiber because I thought the colors were like fun. There's some like bubblegum pink and orange and natural color. Like, the more I look at it, like, it's not the worst. It's definitely not the best. And I really had high hopes. But I had a couple of mistakes. One, when I was spinning it, like, that was okay. Like, mostly not too many, like, breaking and trying to figure that out. Mostly that was fine. I then wound it onto another bobbin using my e-spinner, which I felt very like, wow, I got this. That went okay-ish. And I had to switch the machine to Irish tension so the bobbin would spin. And then that went okay. Then plying, it was still in Irish tension, and I don't know, because I know nothing, if it would be spinning the same direction. And now I know, like, having thought about it a lot longer. And so basically what I ended up doing, because I thought it would be different than, it doesn't matter, but I basically unplied some of my yarn to begin with because I was doing it wrong. I did not have it set up correctly. I figured it out. We came up with this. It was really like a nice lesson in patience. I'm a perfectionist, and this is like very hard to not have something that's not perfect. I'm sharing it with you because like, I'm very proud of my knits, and I feel like knitting comes very easily to me, and in a way that I don't always know that something could be hard for somebody else. I would just assume like, oh, everyone probably knows this. Which probably makes me not the best teacher because I probably leave things out. But with spinning, literally zero knowledge, a couple of YouTubes and a book. This is what I'm going off of. And it's more about just having fun with something that I'm bad at, or bad for now. I don't think I'm the worst. I'm not looking for someone to be like, oh no, it looks so great. Like, that's not the point. It's more just being able to fail a little and still enjoy it, because the process of like drafting yarn or wool into yarn is very fun. And right now I'm just taking that from it. And I'm also trying to do it just a little bit each day to get better. So first skein down, we'll remember this guy. Maybe it will be better next time. I'm just going for better next time. Like a little better. A little more even. A little more, I don't know what, but a little more even maybe. Also, because this was already going badly, and I say that kind of jokingly, I decided that couldn't get worse, so I decided to chain ply this, and I'm sure that's not an easy technique to learn, because it sure isn't easy, and I think at the beginning I was definitely doing it wrong, and then I think I figured it out. Again, it's a mystery. So next time, just a little bit better. I'm definitely not going to chain ply the spindle yarn. I think I'm just going to two-ply it. And this other one, I don't know yet. I don't know. If you have an opinion at all, I'm all ears, because I really don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay. Still figuring it out. So I wanted to share that with you just because it's a little funny to me. It's so bad. Like, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's going to be like maybe a little bumpy and lumpy here and there. But like, this is not at all what I thought would happen. That's okay. We can laugh. Next time, it'll be better. Okay. Now, let's talk about the latest issue of Pom Pom Magazine. It is issue 47, and unfortunately, there's only one more issue, and that's kind of sad. I think it's really sad. So this is the second to last issue of Pom Pom that will be published, and they're currently having a sale on anything they have left over on their website, and if you probably have an issue that you're looking to get, I would get it. They do have some ebooks available, like ebook versions of that. And I actually oftentimes will say that I like looking through the magazine and like reading through it, but when I'm actually knitting a pattern, I use the download code and just look at it on my phone so I can mark where I'm at and stuff like that. So I use both, but this is more just to like enjoy and look through. There's some really nice articles in this, and then I wanted to share some of the patterns. So first off, what caught my eye was the Viridian pullover. Viridian cardigan. It is made using Ritual Dyes Elder and Spin Cycle Dream State. And also, I think you can substitute a worsted weight yarn. This is by Rebecca Clow, and she is the Crayabea on YouTube. I really loved this cardigan. I really think it almost gives like a little bit of an illusion the way that this is done, and I really, really, really love it. It is a worsted weight pattern. It is knit bottom up, and then you do the V-neck shaping. It is a slip stitch pattern. I really like the texture on it. I really think it's cool, and especially with the spin cycle. I'm gonna have to do this in a weird way so as not to share. It is just has this like beautiful details. So I really, really think that this would be a fun one to knit. And apparently now I'm on a cardigan kick, but this one really caught my eye. The other one that really caught my eye is the Caluna by Fiona Alice. And it is the one on the front. It's the front one. And this one is a top-down raglan, and I feel like it really follows the monochromatic theme of this issue by marling the yarns. It was really, really clever. It gives a lot of depth, and I really like that the rib kind of lends to some interest as well. And then there is the Redwear shawl. This one is so cool. It's like an intarsia shawl. And it is that like shawlette scarf shape that is super popular right now. You could use different leftovers and really make a very special piece. I really think it's fun. And the way intarsia works, I feel like it ends up being almost a very reversible thing because you can't really tell the front from the back as much in the way that you're kind of doing the different colors. And so I think that's really, really cool. The next one I liked, and again, I'm not going to go through all of them. I felt like the tell-in was it's by Jessu Camus. Oh, I'm sorry. And Redwear was by Katie Robbins. But this one is a top-down raglan. And the cool thing about this one is the raglan detail. It is top down, and then they do a cool, interesting like embroidery on the raglan to give it that effect. And I thought that was really, really cool, and something that I might use in the future as just like to add a little detail to a sweater. I really, really, really thought it was like such a cool, different thing. And then there is the chiaroscuro scarf, which is this cool 3D. So there's scarves and hats and mittens, and it's really, 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 really cool magazine. I really think, like, look at this hat. Come on. It's so fun. And one thing about Pom Pom, which is really sad to see them go, is I do feel like they took really good care of their designers. I've tested for them, and I felt like it was a fair, like, give and take, if you will. And I really, really will be sad to see them go. But maybe there will be something coming up. We'll see. So that was issue 47 of Pom Pom Magazine. And I really, really am excited. This is also another sweater. Has a nice texture detail. I felt like this issue was all about texture and playing with that in relation to color to really draw out that monochromatic theme that they had going on. I think that we've talked about just about everything. I want to remind you that we are doing that hat cowl, so make sure that if you are making hats, you can double dip. There's a lot of hat cowls going along right now, so you're welcome to submit to mine and somebody else's. It doesn't matter to me. If we are not yet knitting besties, that you click the subscribe button below. And please like this video. It tells YouTube that other fiber enthusiasts like yourself enjoy this type of content. Until next time, happy knitting. Bye.